There were a couple of those. I mean, Flyers almost did what they did on Sunday in that 9 forwards got the vast majority of the ice time, I think. I think Morgan Frost was used a little more in the third than he was in the second, but Wade Allison got 8 shifts all night. So they really leaned on their top 9, as it turned out, and they got the job done.
Yeah, and it's tough to do that repeatedly, but they've had a few days off.
Right.
So that allowed them to shorten the bench up a little bit tonight. Just didn't feel like Frosty and Wade Allison had it going. They both got shifts in the third period. Frost came out in his first shift and he took a penalty. I was like, oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Then he did get a little power play time. But, Torts is going to hold everybody. Doesn't matter whether you're Kevin Hayes, Travis Konechny, Morgan Frost, Wade Allison. There's different expectations, statistical expectations on all those guys.
And I don't think they necessarily played bad, but this Florida team, they're so fast. There's just guys that maybe weren't quite up to it tonight.
And they play fast.
Yeah. Oh, man.
The transition play and the forecheck, and it's like sometimes it feels like there's 6 guys out there. They're smothering in the way they move the puck and everything. But, you get outshot 50-22 in the game, and your goaltender, is able to give you a performance like that again, and it's just unbelievable. To do that. You avenged the game last week.
Yeah.
You lose 4-3 down there when you battled back, but you ended up losing the game. And then this one, you end up winning 4-3. And I'll tell you what, full value, because right until that final horn, those minutes in the third period, those last 4 minutes are tough.
Oh, my goodness.
You are defended. You are. You're on the offensive side of that. It's a little easier because you're dictating the terms. When you're reacting, man, those are tough minutes. Give him credit, they battled. I thought Provorov battled his butt off, too, tonight.
I'm just looking at some of the guys I recall being out there at the time. Joel Farabee's last shift of the game was 1:34. Tony DeAngelo's last shift of the game was 2 minutes and 43 seconds.
Wow, he
played almost the entire last 3 minutes of the game before he got off at that last whistle.
That's what the goalie pulled the entire time.
Yeah. Who else? There's got to be some other garish numbers in here that I just would need to flip through and find them because of the way they're presented to us. But, to play the last, you're right. That almost that entire 2 minutes and 34 seconds at 6-on-5. Travis Konechny, 2:26 at the end.
Yeah.
Again, from that 2:40 mark, that 17:20 mark of the third, all the way down to that final whistle where they called the timeout with 14 seconds left. There were 3:08 for Ivan Provorov. He came back out and played after that 14-second whistle. Just unbelievable efforts there at the end.
Well, Provorov got banged up in this game. I think it was in the second period. We talked about it before. And DeAngelo didn't finish the second period and came out in the third and gutted it out. And, just guys doing those things. DeAngelo played 21 minutes. Provorov played 25 plus tonight. And this is the thing that I think is really interesting, is that Konechny and Hayes didn't play in the third period the other night. In this game, and it's Torts, it's not about, benching you one game. It isn't about a sentencing in perpetuity. Because Konechny came out tonight and he played 22-14. And you just mentioned he was out there in very key moments. It's just he's got a feel as a coach, and hey, if you're not playing to the standard that you should be playing to, then I have to sit you down. And the Nashville game, TK played 23 plus minutes. Tonight he played 22, and just to think the game in between, he didn't play the third period.
Right.
So it speaks of accountability. That accountability is not cumulative. Accountability is daily, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, it's game in and game out, and then it's if something like that happens, it's how you respond. And those guys responded the way they needed to respond. They both did so kind of in their own ways. They handled it differently, and then they both came out tonight and played very, very well. Now, I guess the question will be, come Saturday, is it something that Morgan Frost and Wade Allison are going to need to respond to, or was tonight just a matter of the function of the game and the way everything was going?
They'll have to respond.
Yeah, hard to run 11 forwards. We talked about it the other night. The fact that the Flyers were down to 11 forwards after Van Riemsdyk got hurt. Sometimes it's just easier to run the 9 but that wasn't what they were doing then. I don't know if that's what they were doing it here, but yeah, I mean, both those guys. It's gonna go around the lineup. And I wouldn't be surprised if it touches everybody on the team at some point.
Because you know why? Nobody is immune. Nobody's immune to it.
Yeah.
So I mean, just unbelievable. The other thing too is, if you're going to play 12 forwards, you got to pull a D out. Are you going to pull Steeler out? I thought he was good in the game again tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe you pull Zamula out.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty evident, I think, that this Florida team might have been a little bit much for Igor Zamula.
Yeah, he only played 6:41. He was overmatched.
Yeah.
Just didn't have a good game for him, and made some. I thought the decision he made with the puck behind his own net to try and stretch the ice up the middle. It was a turnover, and Hart ended up bailing him out. But that's a guy when he doesn't have his game, and then he's trying to make something. He's trying to hit a 5-run home run.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Can't do that.
It's like you're a young player in that situation against a team like Florida that's so dangerous. I mean, it's got to be perfect in order. And I think he thought he had the Florida forechecker faked out on that play, but I think that guy was trying to set him up. I think he put him right where he wanted him to be.
Yeah, the middle of the ice is so dangerous because there's so many things you can't see.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when they're coming at you, they can read it pretty easily. But I mean, we'll see what Torts decides to do come Saturday. Back at it. Turn the page on this win. It's a good win. You take the win. You take the 2 points. You're 5-2 on the year now. Now you got to come back Saturday. Still haven't lost 2 straight. I think that's an important element here too.
Yeah.
But you come back Saturday and you got a really good Metropolitan Division team, and the Carolina Hurricanes come into town. So another opportunity. That's how they got to look at it, and we'll see. I imagine that we'll see Kiefer Bellows coming up on Saturday, and they'll go back to 12 forwards. But I mean, as we sit here right now, look, we're only a couple weeks in. They've only played 7 games, but they're sitting right now at the top spot in the Metropolitan Division. Ooh. Think about that.
Yeah.
The Penguins have played 7 games, and they're a point back.
Yeah.
Carolina's played 6, they're 1 point back, so they have the game in hand. So winning percentage-wise, they're ahead of them. But all things considered, a solid start, and a lot of it's on the back of the goalie. Get it? So let's get a station ID here. Let's allow the stations down the line to identify themselves. Go ahead. I could have probably done that live, too.
Yeah.
But I forgot the verbiage.
It's tricky sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Carolina team coming in on Saturday, and for whatever reason, this Florida team's a little dysfunctional right now. And we can't figure out why. There's guys that should have goals that don't, but they've got 24 goals in 8 games. This team should be scoring more than 3 goals a game. Right now, Carolina's got 20 goals in 6 games. So they're a little over that 3-goal-a-game spot, which is incidentally right where the Flyers are right now at 3 goals per game. They're just Florida is giving up a lot right now, and Carolina is not. So it's going to be, I think, a little bit of a tougher road on Saturday. But hopefully the Flyers will be a little more put together on Saturday than they were tonight. I think tonight was, obviously Carter was not right on top of his game, although he was certainly, that's the other comforting thing, that he's when your goalie's having an off night like that and he's still good enough to make 47 saves.
Yeah,
I'll take that. But
that, right?
And so if they're back to 12-6 or wherever they're at, it might be a little bit of a little bit less squirrely of a game. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, and you want to start off the territorial battle of the game a lot better than they did tonight.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, I brought this up a couple of times because I never really thought about it, but Torts said the NHL is a find-a-way league. And if you want to talk about finding a way, that's how you find a way. Your goaltender's not at his sharpest, but yet you still come out with a win when you get outshot, 50-22?
Yeah.
Against 2-time Vezina winner goaltender and Sergei Bobrovsky. That's unbelievable. And that's the importance of the position.
Okay, so I thought this was going to happen. We have had a shot at it. So now it's 51. And so Carter does set a new career high now with 48 saves. Olin was 47.
All right.
So 51 shots on goal. That ties this career high for the most that he's seen in a game in his career.
Wow.
That not that it changes a thing, but it just equals some big round numbers.
Yeah, I'm going to get out my save percentage calculator, and I'll be able to give people exactly what it is. Right after we take a quick timeout, it is the post-game show. Flyers with a 4-3 win over the Florida Panthers. Brian Smith, Jason Martinez. We're back after this on the BetRivers.com. Flyers Broadcast Network. Flyers with a 4-3 win over the Florida Panthers here on our first Throwback Thursday, 60s and 70s night. I've had enough foreigner for a while. But good win for the Flyers. They'll be back at it Saturday, take on Carolina before what's going to be a pretty darn tough road trip. Let me tell you about the save percentage first, though.
Okay.
So his save percentage actually went down. He made
Slacker.
Yeah, he made 48 saves tonight. Gave up 3 goals on 51 shots and had a .941 save percentage.
You stop 48 at 51 and your save percentage goes down, you know you're doing pretty well in the year.
Yeah, I would say. And his save percentage now after tonight's game, he has seen 188 shots on the season, and he's made 178 saves. It's 94.7 is his save percentage. Pretty nice.
You know,
gaudy.
Yeah, I mean, when your save percentage can be a commercial radio station, you're doing all right.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, 94.7.
I don't remember where that cutoff is anymore, but I knew at one point in my life. But, I you know, and again.
He's 5-0, too.
Yeah, 5-0, too. And,
regulation.
And, you know, I know that he's going to want those 2 goals back. I see things in those 2 goals that make me not fault him 100% for them, you know, but the fact that again, he has that short memory. I mean, a lot of goaltenders could fall into the trap of something like that happens and it wrecks their whole night. Never happens for him.
Right. For some reason, you're getting the feedback.
I'm getting
not me. But anyway,
I don't know.
It's kind of weird because, like, we just talked about his season numbers, 94.7.
Yep.
On the season, his save percentage. Go back to the Devils game. First goal goes through him.
Right.
I mean, he's given up a goal that he won't like in every game except the Nashville game. Every game.
Yeah.
That's amazing that he's been able, the mental part of it, been able to battle through when giving up a goal that he would deem, I got to make that save. That can't end up in the back of my net.
So I guess what we're getting at then is that, he's at a .947 save percentage and he's not really even at the top of his game. Would you say that?
One could make that argument.
Yeah.
I think I kind of just did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that to me is like, I got this .947 save percentage, but I could be better.
Yeah.
You got room to grow off that. That's a good day.
Yeah, I mean, in 4-0 on the season, all regulation wins. Team hasn't gone to extras yet. We haven't seen a shootout or anything like that. So, just unbelievable the way he battled tonight. I thought that Tony DeAngelo played like he had a little bit of somebody messed with his Cheerios. He played with a toot all night tonight.
I'm sorry. Who did you say it was? I was trying to figure out this issue. Okay, Tony DeAngelo. Yeah, because there were a couple of guys that did that.
Yeah,
but I mean, I had a couple of spots there where I thought the Flyers might be getting penalties for things, and they didn't. But he definitely is obviously a guy that's going to jump in there when he wants to quiet things down. The one play there where Carter had the glove save, was it Forsling that went after his glove? Yeah. Tapped his glove. I mean, Lawton just hauled off and cross-checked him in the chest.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's good on the referees for letting it quote unquote take care of itself there after a couple of occasions where they didn't, which I thought was interesting. But he Tony DeAngelo is still really kind of, I think, out to prove some stuff. He's had a bumpy road to this point, and he is obviously got his way back now to he's a step ahead of last year when he just had to sign a one-year deal just to get back in the league. Proved himself then. Now he's up here playing for his hometown team, and he wants to basically establish himself. And sometimes you got to do that too, just to try to get your team going when things are a little bit quiet. We saw a little bit of that from Nick Delorier too, just trying to get the bench up a little bit because it's and again, it's not something you would blame him for, but the bench seemed kind of shell shocked there after that first period. Yeah. Just because of everything that was going on. So that's a great thing to see, and we hope that continues.
Yeah, and I spoke with Nick for tomorrow's Flyers Daily right after the game, and basically what he was saying is, we got to go out there and we got to be able to go hard. And I said to him, is it as simple to say that when you play a team, you want them to know that they played you, and that when they do play you, it's not going to be an easy night? And he basically said, yeah, that's what we need to be.
I seem to recall that was what Tortorella was saying coming into the year, right? That you wanted, a team at the very least. You can't control a lot of things in an NHL game. As we just saw Florida do about everything you would think they would need to do to win a game. They didn't win a game, so they can't control that. But what you can do is you can go out there and play a game that when the other team is done, that they know they just played you, like you said. They leave here going, wow, that was a rough team to play against. It's part of what Tortorella's trying to reestablish here, because as we saw in the last few years, really, the Flyers got way too easy to play against. And it is Coatsy will talk to you about it all day long. The team had gotten far away from the days when you came over the bridge and saw the spectrum and you started to feel sick.
Yeah, the Philly flu.
The Philly flu. You got a little bit of that back in the day. And so that's what they're trying to reestablish. And I really think that through these first 2 weeks that they've gone a long way toward getting there.
Yeah, they really have. And we got to continue it. And we'll see if we get Kiefer Bellows and his debut coming up on Saturday.
I'm excited about that pickup. I really am. I think
upside, right?
There's no risk, I don't think. And, I really feel like this might be a situation where a change of scenery revitalizes a guy's career. So I'm really, and it's not like they got to sit somebody else to make it happen. They need him right now.
Yeah.
Really. So I'm excited to see how this works out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if on Twitter somebody would say, I hate this move. Because it just made so much sense if he reached the Flyers to claim him because of the situation. I'm sure somebody did.
I've been so sick of Twitter all summer, but I did have to see. I did have to laugh at some of the tweets out there that were giving Chuck credit for this one. It's been such a rough summer on social media for the organization. So it's a great pickup. I don't think he's gonna have any trouble fitting in here, and he doesn't have to be. When you get picked in the first round of the draft, there's a lot of weight on your shoulders.
Expectations.
Yeah, a lot of expectations, and then it doesn't work out, and you go down to the minors, you feel like you get back or whatever, and I think all that weight is gone for him now.
That's why sometimes like a fourth-round pick ends up doing well because there's not expectation.
Right. It's if a fourth or fifth rounder makes it to the NHL, it's gravy. If you're a first rounder, and that's what you're supposed to do. If you don't do it sometimes right away, you get you start to get a little bit in your head about am I ever going to anything like that. So I think it's going to be a good move for everybody involved except perhaps the Islanders. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out, and maybe we'll see Kiefer Bellows on Saturday against Carolina. Let's take our last time out here on the post-game show as the Flyers send the fans home happy. The fans go home happy. That's always good. 4-3 final. We're back after this. Live from the East Food Hall, Brian Smith, Jason Martinez on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network.
So I've been in
Live at the East Food Hall, it is the post-game show. 4-3 win for the Flyers. Any of the other teams in the division in action tonight? Pretty heavy card on a Thursday, right?
Should be.
Yeah, I know Washington.
We got other crap on the screen.
Predators beating the Blues. Blackhawks beating the Oilers now. Wow.
There's been a couple of games recently that have gone the Flyers' way in other cities. Dallas has a 1-0 lead over the Capitals in the second intermission.
Canucks are winning, but they'll surely lose.
And then the games that are final, as my screen struggles to show. That's the only other Metro game tonight.
Yeah, Bruins, they're off to a great start, 7-1. Marchand came back tonight.
Yep.
They get a 5-1 win over the Red Wings. Canadians beat the Sabres. The Wild beat the Sens in Ottawa, and of course our final here, 4-3. So
And yet another 2-goal comeback win. This is, I guess, the 20th at least now in the league. I don't know if anything else happened tonight, but
well, they were down 1, then they tied it,
Yeah.
and they went down again. So no, they weren't down multiple goals.
right. But Flyers. I mean.
Yeah.
It was, you're right. So it felt like a deficit. You're right.
Oh, it's like 5.
But it was just another. What was the shots in the first period at that one point? 14-3?
Yeah, 17-4, yeah.
Yeah.
When they scored their second goal, they had scored
Right.
2 goals on 4 shots.
Right, yeah. So before that goal, I think it was like 14 or 15-3. And it was just like, holy smokes, we got to do something here to calm things down. So, they were able to do that. And, we've talked about it being a game of momentum. And sometimes you just get that you get that goal on that one opportunity you have, even if you only have 4 shots on goal. You get a goal on 2 of those opportunities, and you might as well be even in shots.
Yeah.
So
We got a really big week coming up, starting Saturday with Carolina. So Carolina at home, then the Rangers on Tuesday on the road at the Garden. Then you're going to head right to Toronto to take on the Leafs on Wednesday. So a back-to-back, 3 and 4.
that's a lousy back-to-back.
Yeah.
You got to clear customs. All this other garbage. I mean, that's a tough one.
Well, you're going to stay north of the border after the game on Wednesday in Toronto, and you're going to go to Ottawa, and we'll see Claude Giroux as a member of the Sens on Saturday. So 4 games in the calendar week.
I've never flown out of New York for hockey. I'm not even sure how you do it, but I'm sure it's not easy.
Yeah.
You gotta drive to probably at least LaGuardia, if not JFK.
Pick your airport.
And then you've the whole customs thing and all that. I mean, that's not a fun trip.
It's not turnkey.
No,
at all.
Like New York's usually turnkey for us because we can get on a train and go up, and the train lets you off,
under the arena.
Yeah, I mean, you just stay there, go up an elevator. You don't have to go outside. You take a train to Madison Square Garden. It's great, but this exit is a little more difficult than what we usually get out of that building.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting week coming up for this team, and with these first 3 games of the month of November, and we'll wrap up October coming up on the 29th. So still a lot to be determined, but certainly a good start at 5-2. We'll take it. Flyers have only lost to Florida last week, 8 days ago, 4-3, and to San Jose on Sunday, 3-0. Rather than that, they're able to pop 4 goals tonight, come away with a win. 48 saves, is it?
Yes, 48 is the final. That is a career high.
They didn't add another one during the break?
I don't believe so.
All right, good.
If they did, I think I would have gotten an email. But what was that? I lost that stat that I told you about. Here it is. Highest single game save total by Flyers goaltender since Steve Mason, March of 2016. So 6.5 years since we've seen that many saves from a Flyers goaltender in a game.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Back in 2016 with Mace.
Yeah, that was en route to that playoff series against the Capitals, I believe, was it, in 2016.
Terry got hurt.
The Flyers were down early in the year, and they were able to charge back March 22nd. So that was part of that charge back. We know the final 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
So that was a big help in the momentum back then, and it's no less valuable here in October of 2022. So it's going to keep the Flyers going until their next time out, and this team is still again 5-2, right?
Yep.
And not playing anywhere close to where they could be. I think they still have a lot of room for improvement, so just keep it going.
Yeah, and we'll be back on Saturday. We will have pregame for you before the Flyers and the Carolina Hurricanes here once again from Wells Fargo Center, and we'll go to the home studios for the road trip. So let's thank a few people before we get out of here. Let's start with our on-site engineer. How about Betsy Dem? Our in-studio engineer. Good job. Our in-studio engineer, Mike Vita. On Highlights Night, Matt Menard. And for Tim Saunders, Steve Coates, Brian Smith, I'm Jason Martinez. You've been listening to Philadelphia Flyers Hockey.
They almost made it.
A 4-3 win over the Florida Panthers on the BetRivers.com Flyers broadcast network. Good night, everybody. Thanks, Mike. Good job.